Welcome to this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley speaking from Washington. This is the program recorded on Friday, May 6th. In this fast-moving situation, you got to know what when this intelligence picture was put together. Let me just ask you to get up to date. There's such a avalanche of events in the past week. We cannot do justice to all of them in this program alone. If you go to Tarpley.net, you will find, I believe, 3 clips from Iranian Press TV from Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday of last week. Press TV. There's a clip from Russia Today, RT, of last Tuesday. There are extensive excerpts from an appearance I made on Tuesday also on the Alex Jones radio show, and there is a 1-hour program in the nature of a strategic overview trying to cover all the bases with the Jeff Rentz radio program. All of that displayed on Tarpley.net. Since we're in this kind of a situation, let me also warn you, there are some websites up there that have my name, sometimes my picture, image and likeness, as they say, that have nothing to do with me. There are in particular a couple of sites on Facebook. You can tell them because they seem to be interested in buying and selling gold and silver, which it's a fine thing, but this is not what I do. I have nothing to do with these sites, and I'm amazed that they're able to put them up. There's also a Twitter feed, Webster Tarpley, with no G. That's not me. And they've managed to get a picture, which I guess I have not. I am Webster G. Tarpley, all one word. That other one, Webster Tarpley, I don't know what the motives are there, but it's not me. So please bear this in mind. Right? I have nothing active on Facebook at the present time. I have a kind of a site which is there, but it's pretty much under construction and not usable at this point. And other than that, what you really want to do is take it all through Tarpley.net. If you go through Tarpley.net, you get right to the real Twitter feed, and you get to the real stuff that's going on. Now, we are now in a period of extremely elevated risk of false flag terror operations, primarily targeting Pakistan, secondarily targeting Libya, but really any target is now possible. And by target, I mean the country to which these, or country or group to which these actions are going to be attributed. They will be false flag. They will be manufactured by usually the U.S. and British intelligence community, but then they will be designed with the moles and so forth, and patsies, above all, to try to target certain groups. I would say at this point, if you have not read 9/11 Synthetic Terror Made in USA, you've got to read the full methodological discussion in there, and you've got to do that fast. You better do that this weekend if there's any way you can get your hand on that book. If you have not thoroughly read and studied 9/11 Synthetic Terror Made in USA, you do not know the method that is being used by these intelligence agencies. And you're therefore very vulnerable to being duped or disoriented or demoralized by the things that are likely to be happening over the coming weeks, especially the theory of the moles, the patsies, and the technicians. I think that's the most developed theory of state-sponsored false flag terrorism that you can find anywhere. For those who can get the Italian edition of a book called Zero by Giulietto Chiesa, at that time a member of the European Parliament, there's also in there a very good summary of the drills. It includes, I think, we have basically 25-plus drills on the morning of September 11th, 2001. 25-plus drills either just concluded, ongoing that day, that morning, or in advanced stages of planning. And I'll go through some brief summary of the theory, but without the 9/11 synthetic, you just can't do it. So get a copy of that. The 4th edition, I believe, is one, but for the theory, you can get any edition. So any of those from Amazon or Progressive Press. The question that we now have to face is, was this past weekend the Sarajevo of something cataclysmic? And there's a substantial chance that it was. And I say this not to make people paralyzed with fear, but to encourage them, to goad them if necessary, into powerful, potent, and effective political action. Political action, which means organizing mass forces to get things done, and to educate people, to provide them with leadership, with program, and with organization. Those three things that they need. I've gotten a couple of inquiries how to organize. Well, the answer how to organize is not immediately clear, but there are certain things that you can do. If it just comes down to look at that Twitter feed that I put out, see what you can glean from that. You can retweet those things, or you can comment on them. You can summarize them in other terms. You can react to them. Anything that stirs the pot in terms of showing on Twitter and in the face of world public opinion that there is an opposition to these horrendous events. I stress this idea of showing that there's an opposition because in the past week we have had some shocking cases of the so-called left liberals turning into raving, bloodthirsty warmongers for Obama. The people who were against the Iraq war, it turns out in so many cases, had no objection to war. They just hated Bush and Cheney, and they are imperialists. And the whole Iraq debate was to a large degree a debate between two imperialist factions. I guess the bombers and the stranglers were the ones that we had at one point in the past, but those two approaches about how to run imperialism. Well, I am not in the business of advising imperialism. This is not the left wing of imperialism or the loyal critical opposition. We're not. This is anti-imperialism, and therefore take a look at these things that I've written, and above all the media events of the last week. Now, we've had this U.S. murder spree over the weekend from Saturday night until Sunday night. I thought the main danger was obviously a false flag terror event orchestrated by the U.S., British, French, and other intelligence agencies and blamed on Libya. Now I think that goes into second place. That's still there, a little bit on the back burner, but absolutely worthy of attention and maybe even coming sooner because of more decent interval, you might say. But the other one, of course, is now the pseudo-Al-Qaeda, right? We have the alleged death of the pseudo-Bin Laden, and all of that in quotes. And now, of course, the CIA and the U.S. Cyber Command obligingly allows a so-called Al-Qaeda website to concede, yes, it's true, you killed him, but now the revenge of Al-Qaeda is at hand. What an idiotic soap opera. Sophomoric, as Alex Jones said this week. Absolutely cretinous. And if to believe this stuff from the greatest liars of the age in the wake of what the neocons did, right? Remember Shulsky and the Office of Special Plans? You have to be very gullible. So the point, if you don't want to be gullible, you better educate yourself and get oriented. So the murder spree, I once read an account of the Office of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Actually, it was an eyewitness report from a guy who had been there. And he said that they have this board, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pentagon, they have a board up there which shows a number of objective indications about how hot and how dangerous the world situation is. And one of the boxes is, has there been an assassination of a chief of state in the last week? Has there been an attempted assassination of a chief of state in the last week? Has there been an assassination of some other high-level public figure? And if those answers are yes, it means that the alert status, at least in the intelligence departments, goes up. So that's where we are now. Was it Sarajevo? Was it? Well, time will tell. But in the meantime, let's organize, right? Get active or get radioactive. Back in a minute.